drives me absolutely crazy? When people swear up and down that two celebrities have beef, but when you actually go back and look at the receipts, the story is completely different from what everyone's been saying. And that's exactly what happened with Beyoncé and Brandy. For years now, the internet has been convinced these two can't stand each other. But when you dig into the actual timeline instead of just repeating what you saw in a comment section, the truth is way more complicated and honestly, way less dramatic than people want it to be. So today we're going through everything, and I mean everything, from the very beginning to what just happened a few weeks ago.
Bestie, you need to be whooped. You know that you out of control now. Messy as hell. You is messy as hell. You is messy. You is messy, and you is messy.
Because this story has been twisted, misquoted, and blown so far out of proportion that even the people involved probably don't remember what actually started it all. Grab your snacks, get comfortable, and let's finally get this straight. Now, to understand how we even got here, you have to go all the way back to February 2009. Brandy did an interview with That Grape Juice, and they asked her which current R&B artists inspired her. This is important, because at this point in her career, Brandy had already been a star for over a decade. She'd had multiple platinum albums, she'd been on TV, she'd done it all. So when someone at her level talks about other artists, people pay attention. And you know what Brandy said? She praised Beyoncé without any hesitation whatsoever. She called her one of the greatest singers and performers of their time. She talked about loving Beyoncé's style and respected her voice and stage presence. She also mentioned Rihanna, Mary J. Blige, Alicia Keys, and Jasmine Sullivan, but she was very specific about how much she admired Beyoncé. Then, a few months later, Brandy posted a Music Monday tribute about Beyoncé's performance of Resentment. She called Beyoncé a bad bee and said the harmonies made her want to throw her entire iPod away. Remember iPods? That's how long ago this was. So, from everything we could see publicly, Brandy was a genuine fan. She wasn't shy about it, she wasn't weird about it, she just respected Beyoncé's talent the same way most people in the industry did. There was zero indication of any tension, no subliminal shots, nothing. Just one artist appreciating another artist. Pretty normal stuff, right? But then we get to March 2013, and this is where things started getting messy, even though it really shouldn't have. Beyoncé released Bow Down, and if you remember that song, you know it caused a whole situation. Beyoncé, who's usually pretty humble and quiet, came out talking her stuff. The lyrics were all about how she earned her throne, and she's telling everyone to bow down. Now, Beyoncé's allowed to be confident about her success, but a lot of people had strong opinions about the tone. Some thought it was empowering, some thought it was too aggressive, and the internet did what the internet does best, which is argue about it for weeks. So, when the Go website interviewed Brandy and asked her about the backlash Beyoncé was getting, Brandy defended her. She said art is freedom and people should be allowed to express themselves however they want. She stood up for Beyoncé's right to create whatever moved her. That part was solid. But then the interviewer asked Brandy if she personally liked the song, and this is where Brandy made the mistake of being honest. She said, "I don't love the song, but I love Beyoncé. I just have to be honest." And that right there, that one sentence, that's what people grabbed onto. Never mind that she defended Beyoncé's artistic freedom, never mind that she said she loved Beyoncé as an artist. All people heard was, "I don't love the song." And suddenly, there were headlines everywhere making it seem like Brandy was coming for Beyoncé. The comment was respectful, it was honest, and it was blown completely out of proportion. But that clip got circulated over and over until people started treating it like proof that Brandy had issues with Beyoncé, even though that's not what she said at all. Things stayed relatively quiet after that until December 2016, and this is when stuff got really messy. A songwriter named Tyon Christian, who goes by TC, spoke publicly about his working relationship with Brandy. Tyon suggested that some shady posts Brandy had made on social media were actually directed at him, and he claimed things got tense between them after he took a picture with Beyoncé.
iPod? Now that's a throwback. I ain't heard that in a minute. Raise your hand if you still got your iPod. Let us know down in the comments.
According to Tyon, Brandy didn't appreciate how close he was getting to Beyoncé, and the fact that he was also working with Tamar Braxton made the whole dynamic even more complicated. Now, here's the thing. The second Taeyeon mentioned Beyoncé's name, the internet took off running with this idea that Brandy was jealous of Beyoncé. It didn't matter that Taeyeon was talking about his own personal issues with Brandy. All people focused on was that Beyoncé was mentioned, and suddenly everyone was convinced Brandy had been harboring jealousy this whole time. The Beyhive went into full attack mode, and Brandy found herself having to address drama she didn't even start. So Brandy tried to shut it all down. She posted a picture on Instagram of her Brandy Barbie doll next to Beyoncé's doll, and she wrote this long, heartfelt caption about healing and spirituality. She talked about going through depression, feeling lost, and how much personal growth she'd been through. She apologized for any moments when her own hurt caused her to hurt other people, and she made it very clear that she had unconditional love and respect for Beyoncé. She even gave a shout out to Solange, who had defended Brandy in the past when people were disrespecting her album 211. Brandy's message should have been the end of it. It was sincere, it was vulnerable, and it directly addressed the rumors. But some members of the Beyhive weren't interested in healing. They treated the entire caption like Brandy was being fake or trying to manipulate the situation. It didn't matter what she said or how she said it. Some people had already decided she was the villain, and nothing was going to change their minds.
This my shit, bow down, bitch. Bow down, bitch. Bow down, bitch. Hey!
Fast forward to September 2023, and Brandy went to the Renaissance World Tour with her daughter. She posted photos from the concert, thanked her daughter for taking her, and the whole vibe was just sweet and wholesome. It was a mother-daughter night out enjoying Beyoncé's show. You would think that would put all the speculation to rest, right? If Brandy supposedly had beef with Beyoncé, why would she spend her time and money going to the tour? Why would she post about it publicly? It should have been obvious at that point that there was no real tension, but the rumors still didn't stop. And that brings us to December 2024, when Ray J decided to get involved and make everything 10 times worse. Beyoncé and Jay-Z reportedly attended a few dates of the Boy Is Mine tour, which featured Brandy, Monica, Kelly Rowland, and other artists. Fans posted pictures of Beyoncé backstage with Monica and Patti LaBelle, but there weren't any photos of Beyoncé with Brandy. That's when Ray J hopped on social media with the energy of someone who had way too much coffee, or maybe something else that starts with a C. Ray J claimed that Beyoncé and Jay-Z never came to Brandy's dressing room and that they failed to show Brandy love. He looked genuinely upset about it and was going off about how his sister deserved better. But here's the kicker. Ray J also admitted that Brandy didn't know he was making the video and would probably be mad at him for it. So he wasn't even speaking on her behalf. He was creating drama on his own and putting Brandy in an uncomfortable position. People reacted exactly how you'd expect. Half the internet said Ray J was being a protective brother, and the other half said he was stirring up mess for no reason. And while Ray J was still trending, things got even weirder. Brandy's Instagram account started commenting under a Beyoncé fan page, basically begging Beyoncé to take a picture with her because it would go viral. The comments looked desperate and strange, and people immediately started saying Brandy was obsessed or mentally unstable. Brandy's team came out and said her account had been hacked, and those comments weren't from her. Now, I know some of y'all don't believe that, because everyone claims they got hacked these days, but in this case, it does seem legitimate. The comments were way too out of character and the timing was too perfect right after Ray J's video. Someone was clearly trying to make Brandy look bad. But then another video surfaced that really got people talking. It was taken backstage at the Boy Is Mine tour, and it showed Beyoncé walking through the backstage area. You can hear someone telling people to move to the side, and then Brandy appears. In the video, it looks like Beyoncé is ducking and trying to avoid being in the same space as Brandy. People took that clip and ran with it, saying it was proof that Beyoncé was actively avoiding Brandy and that the beef was real. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, that video is hard to interpret. Backstage at a major tour is chaotic. There are dozens of people moving around, security is trying to manage traffic, and everyone's on a tight schedule. Could Beyoncé have been avoiding Brandy? Maybe. Or could she have just been trying to get from point A to point B without getting stuck in a crowd? Also very possible. The video doesn't show the full context, so we're all just guessing based on a few seconds of footage. Here's what we do know for sure. Brandy has been nothing but complimentary toward Beyoncé for over a decade. Every time she's been asked about Beyoncé, she's praised her talent, defended her choices, and shown genuine respect. The only negative thing she's ever said was that she personally didn't love one song, and even then, she made it clear she still loved Beyoncé as an artist. That's it. That's the entire list of evidence that Brandy has an issue with Beyoncé. On Beyoncé's side, she's done what she always does, which is stay completely silent. Beyoncé doesn't address rumors, she doesn't get into public back and forths, and she definitely doesn't waste time responding to speculation about who she does or doesn't like. That's part of her brand. She moves in silence, and she lets her work speak for itself. So, the fact that Beyoncé hasn't acknowledged any of this drama doesn't necessarily mean anything one way or the other. There are some industry whispers that add another layer to all of this. Some people claim that Brandy and Kelly Rowland used to be close until Brandy allegedly tried to warn Kelly about the Knowles family. According to the rumors, Brandy said something to Kelly that didn't sit well, and that caused tension between Brandy and Beyoncé's inner circle. But here's the problem with that story. Nobody involved has ever confirmed it. It's purely speculation based on third-hand gossip, and it's impossible to verify. What I will say is that Brandy has had some conflicts in the industry over the years. She had very public issues with Monica, although they've since made peace. She's been in situations where people questioned her professionalism or her attitude, so it's possible that some of those past conflicts have contributed to people being quick to believe she has beef with other artists, even when there's no real evidence. But let's be real about what's actually happening here. The public loves the idea of two powerful Black women being at odds with each other. It's the same narrative that gets pushed over and over again, whether it's Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, or Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey, or any other combination you can think of. People love the drama, they love picking sides, and they love the idea that these women can't coexist peacefully. The truth is, you can respect someone's talent and still not be best friends with them. You can attend someone's concert and enjoy their music without having a close personal relationship. You can even admit you don't love one of their songs without it being a declaration of war. Adult relationships are nuanced, and just because two people aren't publicly buddy-buddy doesn't mean there's secret drama happening behind the scenes. From everything I've seen, this so-called beef between Beyoncé and Brandy is mostly a creation of the internet. Brandy has consistently shown respect and admiration for Beyoncé. Beyoncé has stayed silent, which is what she does with literally everything. And the moments that people point to as proof of tension are either taken out of context, misinterpreted, or straight up fabricated by people who weren't even there. Could there be some awkwardness between them? Sure, maybe. It's possible that Beyoncé didn't appreciate the bow down comment, even though it was mild. It's possible that there's more to the story that we don't know about, but based on the actual facts we have access to, there's no smoking gun here. There's no bombshell revelation, there's just years of speculation, a few unfortunate coincidences, and a whole lot of people reading way too much into every little interaction. And honestly, Beyoncé is so good at controlling her public image that if she wanted to shut down these rumors completely, she could do it in about 5 seconds. All she'd have to do is take one photo with Brandy, post it on Instagram, and the entire narrative would flip overnight. People would be talking about how the queens made peace, how they're supporting each other, and how beautiful it is to see Black women lifting each other up. One photo and this entire conversation would be over. Will that happen? I don't know. Beyoncé doesn't move based on what the internet wants. She does things on her own timeline for her own reasons, and she's under no obligation to perform friendship for the public. But it would be pretty poetic if she showed up at another tour stop, wrapped her arm around Brandy, smiled for the camera, and sent everyone scrambling to rewrite the story they've been telling themselves for years. At the end of the day, this whole situation is a reminder that we don't actually know these people. We see what they show us. We hear what they say in interviews, and we fill in the rest with our own assumptions and biases. Sometimes those assumptions are right, but a lot of times they're completely wrong. And in this case, I think people wanted there to be beef so badly that they convinced themselves it existed, even when the evidence was pretty thin. So, what do you think? Do you believe there's real tension between Beyoncé and Brandy, or do you think this whole thing has been blown out of proportion? Let me know in the comments, and if you made it this far, go ahead and subscribe, because we're always digging into the real stories behind the headlines. I'll see you in the next one.